Okay, so now this is the second half of the chapter. This is the one that I made the videos for. So it's changing from different bases to base 10. So this is, we're changing from base 8 to base 10. So that just means instead of having like on the Babylonian we had 60s, now we're going to have an 8, or normally you have a 10. So this would be 8 to the 0, 8 to the 1, 8 to the 2. So what you would do is okay, this is going to be 6 times 8 squared plus 3 times 8 to the first plus 6 times 8 to the 0. So 8 squared is 64. This would be 6 times 64 plus 3 times 8 plus 6 times 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1, and when you add them all up, you should get 414. Okay, let me just erase that so I can do the next one. Okay, so now for this one, it's base 5. So again, the columns are going to be 0, 1, 2. So this is going to be 3 times 5 to the second plus 4 times 5 to the 1 plus 2 times 5 to the 0. So this is 3 times 25 plus 4 times 5 plus 2 times 1. Multiply them all out, add them, and you get 97. Okay? And then the last one, let me just erase this one. Okay, so now the last one, these columns are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you count. Okay, so this would be 1 times 2 to the 7th plus 1 times 2 to the 6th plus 1 times 2 to the 5th. I'll leave all the zeros out to save space. 1 times 2 to the 1 plus 1 times 2 to the 0. So 2 to the 7th is 128. 2 to the 6th is 64. 2 to the 5th is 32. This would be 2. That would be 1. Whoop, that's plus 1. And so when you add them all up, you get 227. Okay? Let me just erase that. Okay, so now, so that's changing to base 10. Now we're going to change from base 10 to different bases. Okay, so the first one is changing to base 8. So I'm going to go to the next page and come back. So I'm going to take 68 and change it to base 8, which means I'm going to divide by 8. 8 goes into 68 8 times, which is 64, with a remainder of 4. 8 goes into 8 once, with a remainder of 0. And then finally, 8 goes into once 0 times. You always have to make sure you get a 0 here. With a remainder, this is always my remainder, 1. So my answer, you read down, is 104. Okay, so that should be, this should be 104, and then you have to put a little 8, a little subscript 8 there. Okay, so now we're going to do 2,874 into base 5. Okay. Okay, so I got 2,874 into base 5, which means that's what I'm dividing by. So 5 goes into 28 5 times with the remainder of 3. So I just put the 3 here just to make it so now it's 5 into 37. That goes 7 times with a remainder of 2. 5 goes into 24 4 times with a remainder of 4. So now I do it again. So I do 5 into 574. It goes once here, once into 7 with a remainder of 2, and again 4 times into 24 with a remainder of 4. 5 goes into 114 goes into 11 twice with a remainder of 1, into 14 twice with a remainder of 4. 5 goes into 20 4 times, now the remainder is 2. 5 doesn't go into 4 because 4 is too small, so it goes in 0 times, remainder 4. So you always have to make sure you get a 0 up here, and this number is your remainder. So my answer is 4, 2, 4, 4, 4, and make sure you put the little 5 there. Okay, so now we're going to do 13,562 into base 7. So 13,562 into base 7. So I divide by 7. So it goes once here with a remainder of 6. And then it goes 9 times here with a remainder of 2. It goes 3 times here with a remainder of 5. 7, remainder 3. Now I do it again. Divide by 7. It goes twice with a remainder of 5. 7 times, remainder 4. 6 times, remainder 5. And I do this. For some reason, I always want to put a 2 there. Divide by 7. So it goes 3 times with a remainder of 6 into 66 9 times, and the remainder is 3. Divide by 7. I go 5 times, remainder 4. Now 5 is too small, so it goes 0 times, and there's my remainder 5. So my answer is 5, 4, 3, 5, 3, base 7. Okay, so the last two have to do with base 16, and that's where the numbers come in. So it gets a little bit more confusing here. So you have to remember a number can only have one column. It can't go into 2. So because it's base 16, the numbers are 1 to 15, 0 to 15. So once you get to 10, they start using letters. So A is 10, B is 11, C is 12, D is 13, E is 14, and F is 15, because it can only be in one column. So if I'm going to change these to base 16, this would be 6 times 16 to the 1 plus, now E represents a 14, so I would write 14 times 16 to the 0. Okay, because you don't write an E where you're changing it to base 10, so you write what it's equivalent to, which is 14. You add them up, and that comes out to be 110. Okay, so now this is the 0, 1, 2, 3. So I would do A times 16 to the third plus B times 16 squared plus 4 times 16 to the first plus 2 times 16 to the 0. So again, A is a 10. 16 to the third is 4,096. B is an 11. 16 squared is 256. This would be 4 times 16, and this would be 2 times 1. Multiply them out, add them all up, and I have 43,842. Okay? So that's why there's letters there, because they can only hold one column. Okay, so the last two questions is changing from base 10 to base 16. So again, you're dividing by the base. So I got 16 dividing, oh, I don't want to do it down there. Sorry, let me just change this. Whoop. I don't want to scribble on it either. There we go. Okay, so I want to do it up here. So I'm going to divide 16 into 700. Okay, 16 into 70 goes 4 times, because now I am going to do long division because of the 16. This is going to be 64, and that's a 60, and that's going to go in 3 times. That's 48. and that's 12. Well, a 12, this is the remainder, is really a C. Then this is what I'm going to divide into. 16 into 43 goes twice, and the remainder is 11, but I can't write an 11. I have to write the letter, which is B, and then here's what I'm dividing into, and 2 is too small, so it goes in 0 time, and my remainder is 2. So my answer is going to be 2BC. So instead of writing down, which I had in all the other ones, I write this way, and that's 16. You have to make sure you write a 16. Okay, last question. That didn't work. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to divide 16 into 6,784. So 16 goes into 67 4 times. 16 goes into 38 twice. 16 goes into 64 4 times. And the remainder is 0. So now this is what I'm dividing into. 16 into 424 goes twice. 16 goes into 104 6 times. And a remainder of 8. So now I go into 26. 16 goes into 26 2 times. No, it goes in once. I don't know what, I lost my mind for a minute. That's my remainder. So that's an A. So now finally I go 16 goes into 1 0 time. Remainder. This is my remainder. 1. So now I read backwards. 1 A 8 0. And you know you read backwards because you could never start a number with a 0. You always have to end. Okay, so that's the whole thing. Hopefully it fits.